to make any improvements, that kind of thing. Yeah, anxious, being very eager is being anxious. And I use the word whether it's your loyalty towards Swapnamis or your anxiety to learn English. So anxious, anxiety, they come to same word. All right, these are those positive power words, and I told you right about 10 of them. So, I'll just read through very quickly, but these are some beautiful, lovely words which you can use when you are trying to sell yourself, when at an interview, or, what kind of person you are. If someone asks, tell them like I am so. Pick any of those, which not exactly the same meaning, but these are the words that you can use to go, to show that you are a powerful communicator. So accurate, active, adaptable, adapt. Adapt and adapt is different. Adapt means being ready, being apt. Okay? Adapt means adapt to different surroundings. Broad-minded, competent, conviction, creative, dependable, determined, diplomatic, efficient, energetic, enterprising, enthusiastic, experienced, fair. See how I pronounce also each word. Firm, genuine, grit, perseverance, resolute. Resolute means that kind of thing. Resolute. Innovative, logical, loyal, limitless, mature.
Yes, I can see that.
Methodical, motivated, objective.
All right, thank you for the warm welcome as always.
Pleasant, positive, practical.
I know the weather is
reliable,
not very favorable. Plus the power cuts, plus the internet connectivity. I think that's the reason we have 45 plus 146
skills, resource,
viewers. So
self-disciplined,
I assume it's not my fault, and I'll take it for granted that for the next session there will be the usual 100
I hope you did those homeworks a bit humorously.
As I said, today is going to be the most interesting session.
I hope you did.
I feel bad and awkward that I don't have a full strength. So that's okay. It is what it is. So can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Everyone can hear me. Okay. So as I promised that today is the most interesting session, it's because all I'm going to do is tell a couple of stories. My focus today would be on how to be a good storyteller. We all love stories right from the time when we were kids. We were used to these bedtime stories, which our parents make us to put us to sleep. And stories had always been a very effective way to transfer knowledge right from 1 lakh years ago. And there had been evidences that it is purely storytelling that has carried, transferred information, ideas, wisdom from generation to generation.
The sound is audible, and how about the video, the PowerPoint? Were you able to see?
In order to teach people in a more convincing way, in a way that they can remember for a long time. So let me, I guess you can see the PowerPoint.
PowerPoint is not.
Can you see the PowerPoint now? So you were not able to see from the last, say, 20 minutes?
Now we can see the PowerPoint, sir. Now we can see the slides.
Now you can see, yeah? Okay, then. Yeah. So just in case, if you're not able to see, please ping me. Yeah, I mean, let me know.
Okay.
If,
so
just because PowerPoint is also important.
Can you see now?
I mean, especially those words.
You can see
that's quite.
Okay, just to read.
Okay, please let me know.
Just to reiterate.
Thanks very much, sir. Thank you.
My name is Davis Padikal. I'm the placement
trainer
at
I am audible, and you can hear the PowerPoint now.
I had been there
Can
for
I
about
continue?
4.5 years. All I do is
Yes, sir. Yes,
train
sir.
students
Thank
how
you.
to fare
All
well
right.
in the
So I
interview,
hope
group
you did
discussion,
the
and
homework,
secure a good job.
which was
So
about
that's
three
what I
lines about your
basically do there.
future, 3 lines about why you wake up late, 3 lines
Now,
why you do not
before
like
I
to go to
start,
college at all,
I wanted to
3 lines
thank you
as to why
all,
you should practice what you
the
preach.
students who had
So I
sent
hope you
me
did some
the
of of course,
homework,
and I'm not going to check
the
on
earlier,
it,
the
but
last,
you know,
the
at
topics
the end
that
of the
I've
day, it's
given,
for
had
you.
given.
So,
And
try to
I
be
thank
a
them
little
for
more
the homework, so you
passionate
can just quickly read
about
it. A few
learning
students
the
sent in their
language, the
homework,
right way
and
to
I
pronounce,
hope
and let
you
me tell
got
you,
them
you'll be a
back
winner.
corrected. So
You
some
know,
of
as I
them were
told the
very
last class,
inspirational, and
my
I
students
was
used to
quite
always tell
surprised
me, is
as to
English
how
really
well you can
important?
write.
But,
But so you should
you know,
continue
I
to
used to
do
say,
so,
well,
and
if you
I
think
will
it's not
continue to
important, it's not
rectify
important.
your
But if you think
mistakes
it's
so that you
important
can
and you
think
want a
and write
career,
better.
and if you want to
You
earn big
know, as I said,
paychecks, if
storytelling
you
is
want a
all about
promotion, if you want to
imagination.
write a good mail,
Very
if you want to
simple
motivate
topic
your team
like,
members, of course,
you
you
know,
need to speak
you
good
sitting in
English
a
and you need
place,
to be,
and what are you doing there? Doing
speak with
nothing.
conviction.
You can make
That's
that
the
into a
reason.
story
That's the only way
and
team
make it
members can
impressive and
accept you as their
convincing.
leader.
And that's the art
Otherwise,
of
you'll all end
story
up as
making.
middle-level
So
managers, which is nothing
basically,
great.
making
So
mistakes is okay. When you send
so
me
I
your
suggest
articles or the homework,
make use of
making
this
mistakes is
time,
absolutely
and
okay.
the next
But
two
not
classes. The
participating
next class
is
will be
not
about how to
okay.
be a good
So
storyteller,
I
and I'm
expect
going to
more
come up with some
participation.
very
I got
interesting
only about
stories
8 or
and see
10
how I
of the
pitch
students
in
who
my
send me
stories
their
and make it
homework,
humorous.
but
That will be the
try and
next
do
class.
more. I had
So
given you my email
be
address
patient,
also
but
right
at least
below.
keep doing your
And
homework. All right. So
please take it
you can do
down.
a lot
I
better.
know there are only
So
about
please do
45
the
students
homework.
today,
Let's move
so
on
please
now.
take down my email ID. It is DEESSEBI@gmail.com. Please send me in, and I'm going to correct it, and I'm going to also make a mention of how better you can write. Okay,
Okay.
this is how
So at any
you
point of
speak
time,
and
if you're not
communicate
able to hear me or if you're not able to see
more
the
effective.
PowerPoint, please
Okay.
let me
Now,
know.
as I promised,
Because otherwise I'll be
as
just
I said,
talking to
I'm not going to
myself.
bore you in this
Okay,
session.
so
And it's a nice, cool day.
the second
As I told you in the
part
last
is
week, I used to work in a cruise line.
before I
And
start, I'm going to finish in
Swapna Miss
by
told me that
3 o'clock
most students might
because
not know what's a cruise
today
line.
there's a good
So
attendance. I
she
see the
asked me
attendance is
to,
more than
sorry,
100 and
she asked me to make a
104, 5,
small
whatever.
video
So
of,
that's fantastic. It's
show a
maybe
small
because I
video of
left you in
what a cruise line
exactly
is.
60
It is
minutes,
something
65
which
minutes last time. I'm going to keep my
you
word,
perhaps
and I'm going to
are
finish
not
off
more
by 3,
familiar with.
3:05. Right? So
I mean, anytime when you
by the way,
can't
I'm
hear
not
me
going
or
to
when you
take
can't
any
see the
questions at
PPT
the
or the
end of the
video,
session because
please
I might not
stop
have
me
time. I'll
because
be very glad
I
to
don't
take
want to be
questions.
talking
But
to an
then,
empty screen.
as I said, I want to keep my promise
Is that okay?
and then let you off in 60 minutes. So,
Hello.
but again, on the same page, I would like to say that
it's
but
okay.
the next one,
It's
how
okay,
to be a
fine.
good
Just a moment.
storyteller, the next one and the session after, you're open to questions. You can ask any questions you want,
So,
and I'll be very willing to answer.
I'm going to show
So
the video
that's
on
that's
the
my
cruise
word.
lines.
So
Well, it is
let's start with the
absolutely
rules of a
fantastic.
good conversation.
It's unlike
So
what you have
these,
seen in a ship.
according to me,
I
are
would call
the
it a
5
floating
important rules.
5-star
Start with
hotel.
small talks. Winning is not important.
The first video will be
Keep the
about the
audience
10
guessing.
largest cruise ships
Next is
in
never.
the world,
I'll tell you what
followed
you
by
are not
the
supposed to.
largest
And
ship. You will
watch what you
see the
talk.
interiors.
So
Now, the
let's
second
start
video
with
is about 29 and
the
a half
most
minutes
interesting
long.
thing.
So
Start with
I
small
might
talks. Now,
forward in
when you
certain
meet
places so that we can
a
finish
friend
within our time
or
deadline.
when you
So the
meet
first video I'm not going to cut short
boss
because
or your
it's a small
immediate
video
supervisor or
of the 10
your friends
largest
here
ships,
or anybody,
and
or even an
you will be in
audience, as a matter of
absolute
fact. So when you see
admiration
them,
as to
how are
how
you
these
going to
ships are
start?
built. And believe
Right?
it or not,
This
these
is
ships
very
cost
important how you
nearly
start
10
the
to
small talks, because most of the
12,000
time you're
crores.
lost.
Those
Because
are
you're
the
seeing a
cost
person
of
for the
those
first time
ships.
and you're
The
wondering
time
what
when I
should
left,
you talk
the
to
ship
that
itself
person,
cost about
to
7,000
start off,
crores,
to
and today
break the
the
ice.
ships
That's
that are
what you
coming
say,
can hold
to
about
open up the conversation.
10,000. Yeah,
So
you heard it right. 10,000 people. That's about
I mean,
7,000
please
passengers
read
and
them.
about
I hope the PPT is
3,000 crew
clear.
members. Crew members are the people who work
Please
on the
tell me
ship, just like
yes.
how I work.
If the
So
PPT
we
is
are called
clear.
crew
Yes,
members,
sir.
so that's
Yes,
about
very good. Thank you.
10,000 people working in a
Anytime when
ship,
I ask
and
that, please
that's
respond
absolutely
to me, and I'll be very
mind-boggling.
grateful to
So
you.
let's do the
So
video without much ado.
the most important thing is
Just one.
start with a compliment. Everyone likes to be praised. Yeah, everyone likes to be praised. For example, let me tell you, when I started my career in Jodhi Engineering College, that's the first time I was teaching in India. And when I
Sound
was
is
in the class,
no sound. Video is
usually
No
girls,
sound.
they they say, sir, you look very nice. So I
Just
used to
a
tell
moment. I
them,
heard there
oh
is no
no, man, I
sound,
don't
so
have hair. Look at me bald,
give
and
me a few seconds.
I'm not that
There's
good
nothing
looking.
about the sound
So
there,
I
but
feel
the
kind of this.
commentary is really good. So at least you will
Do you know
know
why
what
they
they are
said
talking
this?
about. These kind of
It's
mega
because
liners
in
is
my
what they are
class,
called. Can you hear
I
now?
always tell them, how
No,
to strike a
I
conversation
can't.
with
Not
someone
still?
is how to
Not
compliment
still.
them. So they pulled up this trick on me. I was
That's
surprised.
fine. You can just have a
And
look.
they said, "So you look very nice."
I can hear it.
I said, no, I lost all my hair.
So
I
I
look
guess it's
bald,
fine
and
if you're
you
not
know,
able to hear
it's
because
not. I'm short and things like that. So they said, "No, sir. Have you seen Fahad
can you
Fasil?
hear now?
He's very handsome. He doesn't have hair,
Can you hear now?
and he looks
No,
very nice. So
not
you look very
audible.
good too, sir."
Not
Only
not
That
audible,
made
yeah?
my day. And
video
how
is
my
Fine.
okay.
class would have been after that.
Video, that's fine.
Double
Go ahead with
energy.
the video and then
So this is
you,
how
you just have to
compliments
see the
work.
ships, that's all.
You see anybody, you tell them, "Oh, you're wearing a wonderful dress. What a cute smile you have. You have a nice dimple. Your bag that you're wearing, that you're wearing, yeah, is great. The phone that you're using has got a nice cover, something like that. This is how you break the ice and you start up with small talks. This is how you win them over and they start liking you. It happens when you're speaking to an audience too. Pick one or two from there. Oh, that's a nice, beautiful dress you're wearing. That's the way how the audience feel that you are relating to them. Go down to their level, speak to them, and they're going to feel wonderful. All right. Next, stand tall. What is stand tall? Stand tall is always when it's not standing tall. When you are a 5-footer, you can't be a 6-footer standing tall. No, I don't mean that. I mean, when you're standing tall is when the kind of your language that you use,
Is the video
the
very
way
clear?
you speak, the way you use your social skills to charm them is
Yes.
how you stand
Yes,
tall.
it's clear.
Now, there are so many ways you can use, you can say, hi, how are you? You can ask them about their past, about their future, and they're going to feel good, right? So,
Now
I
a
mean,
little bit audible.
I want to tell you
Now you
another
can hear,
thing,
yeah?
using
But the sound is
compliments.
so low,
When I
low
worked
voice.
in
Sound is
US
very
for
low,
about
yeah? Just
17
one
years.
Yeah.
I worked in cruise lines. There are,
How's it now?
massive cruise lines with
Still
about
low.
How's it now?
8,000, 9,000
Low,
passengers.
low
So
only.
I was
Very
21
less
years
There's no
sound.
old
voice
when
at
I
all.
started working in a
Voice
cruise
is
lines.
there,
And,
but it's very
I was
Very low. Okay, that's fine.
intimidated.
very.
Intimidated means I was scary to work in such a place, a completely different kind of atmosphere where you meet people from all over the world. And most of them were African Americans, what you call blacks, which you're not supposed to. You call them African Americans. The black Negroes, what you call Negro, is absolutely a racist word. In order to make you understand, I said that. But these were the kind of guys who are like 6 foot, 6.5. At the same time, there are a lot of Mexicans too who are very, very short. Now, I joined the cruise lines in the restaurant as an assistant manager, and because I was armed with a hotel management degree, and I went there. I was an assistant manager, and there were a lot of waiters working under me. In fact, I was given a section to handle, which is half the dining room. We call them dining rooms, and they are huge. At least about 2,000 people can sit at one time. So I was there given in charge for about 10, 15 tables, and most of them were taken care by Mexican, Honduras, and kind of waiters and small guys who could not speak English, who had no basic education, and this is where I started my career. So the way how they used to blend, create a rapport with the passengers, we call them guests. We are not supposed to call them passengers. As I said, the number of passengers is unbelievable, right? You got 8,000-9,000 passengers, so you got to be very fast. There are lots of challenges involved when you're working, but these little Mexicans or Nicaraguans or San Salvadorians, those are the nearby countries in South America, they had a way how to deal with passengers and make more money than me. I had a consolidated salary because I was an assistant manager, and these were the waiters who did not have no salary. They worked there and earned their remuneration. They earned their salary by way of tips alone. How do you think they made their money? It's how they talked to the guests and made money. I used to stand in wonder with jealousy as to why I'm not able to talk like that. I used to be one like you all, who was very shy. Yeah, who was very shy, and I did not have any interpersonal skills, social skills. I was zero. Yeah, I had a good education, but I studied in a good English medium school. But that said, I could write, but I could not speak, and that's a skill. So, how did these illiterate waiters manage to make so much money? They made more money than me, right? How? It's because they know how to compliment these people, telling that, we used to go to different port of calls. Port of calls are different ports. These ships go to different ports like St. Martin, St. Thomas. These are also beautiful, beautiful. Puerto Rico. There are some beautiful islands, Bahamas. So when they come back, they always buy some accessories, some souvenirs, to take back home. It's a 1 week cruise. We go on a 1 week trip. So they come on a Sunday and leave on a Sunday early morning. Sunday afternoon they come. The next batch leaves Sunday morning. Next again, next again. 1 week, you have got the same people on your tables. But by the end of the big week, they become so friends that when they are leaving, they never bother to take picture with me, the guests, but they're sure they take a picture with the waiter, and they made more money. I made nothing. I just stood there and watched the kind of money they made. And that's when I went home. I said, if I have to spend my life, make a career in the ship, I need to change myself. So that's when I started, developing my language on a communication basis. Because until then, yeah, I could write English with no spelling mistakes, with no grammar mistakes, but that's not all. Communication is a different ball game. It's when I started, I introspected myself. I asked myself, where am I going wrong? So, of course, there I didn't have much friends. As an Indian in the restaurant, there were only like one or two guys. The other two were Mumbaiites, who did not get along well with me, but, they were from Mumbai, that kind of North Indian, South Indian, whatever. So here is when I started to coach myself. I started to train myself. How? I started talking to myself. Right? I started to visualize what happens in a particular place, and I make my own stories, my own drama. Okay, my English was good. I mean, it's all how I have to communicate and impress the people in a short period of time and earn more money than those waiters. And this is what I did. This is where I learned how to compliment, how to use those social skills, and how to make people feel good. It's the feel good factor. All right, so coming to the next one. Talk about an event. What will you talk? What will you talk? You talk about an event, any exhibition that you went, or any place that you saw, or the place that you work, the weather. The weather is always a kind of a real break ice point. You talk about weather, everyone talks, oh, today was a rainy day, and yesterday was such a sunny day. We thought, there is no more rains, and suddenly the rain came. So, this is how it is. And just kind of your body language, bring in something new, right? Things like that. An accessory, as I said, their bags, or what the earrings, what they wear, or the pen they're using, or whatever. When it comes to men, it's the pen, whatever. What do they use? You make them feel good, and find some a place which is complementary. You see my last in the third, complimentary. Complimentary is not giving compliments. Other than spelling COMPLIN. See the first one. That is compliment. That is praise. Complementary topics related topics, congenial topics. Topic. Now, for example, if I talk to my wife about the latest phone, she's not going to like it. But if I tell her about some diamond rings and the latest saree, she's going to like it. So I need to pitch in something about maybe a congenial thing of interest. For example, she has students who are kind of naughty. I have some students in my college who are naughty. So, this is where we, try to find something where we can talk. All right. So that's the way how you find something. Then future plans, sports. If you're interested in sports, it's sports or future plans, what you're planning to do, after your BSc, what you're planning to do. I'm not going to do my MSc. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do civil services, whatever. Talk about college, talk about movies, something. You talk and then, break the ice and then you become chatting. This is how you learn how to converse.
Hear me?
Next, keep it light and no jargon. Jargon,
Yes,
very technicalities.
yes, sir.
Okay? Keep it light and no jargon.
So,
this is how you start with friendship.
That was, I'm sure you're amazed at the kind of
their level and
ships
speak to that
that's
level. It depends. If you are
sailing,
very educated
mainly
people,
in the
you
United
got to talk to
States
that level
and,
if
of
you
course,
have
in
that
Europe.
skills.
And
Or else if it's just
Malaysia
a nice
and
light setup to
Singapore
make them
also
laugh,
has some smaller
then
cruise lines
the
called
topic has
Star
to be
Cruises.
light. All right.
So
So
I
that's the
worked
first
on
one.
the
Start with
Carnival,
small
Royal
talks.
Caribbean, the one
Next.
we saw those huge ships.
Winning is
the
not
one you see right in
important.
front also.
This is where
And
many of us
Norwegian cruise lines. These are the
go wrong. It's
three
because when
cruise
we
ships
talk to
companies that I
someone,
work for
we
in
always
my
want to get the feeling
17 and a
that
half years.
uh,
So the
you
one I'm
know
going to show now,
I
I'm going
made
to
in
quickly
some
forward it because
points
it's a
which are
29
more
minutes
interesting
video.
than that person.
And
I told that joke that's
please
more interesting than them.
pay close
All
attention,
right,
and
it's
you will
not
see
like
how
that.
big the dining rooms
Remember,
are. Dining
no
rooms are
one
something
is
that can
interested
hold
in
about
you.
2,000 people at one time,
Right?
with a
No
huge
one is
sitting
interested in
dining
you.
with
It's all
enough
about
space to
me,
move
me,
around,
me.
and the bars and
Right? It's all
the
about me.
casinos
You
and
tell,
theaters
let me do the
and
talking. You
the
listen to me.
golf clubs and
People are like
the
that.
rock
Let them talk.
climbing,
All
basketball
right?
courts.
What's
You will
important is
see
to
anything.
listen.
Literally,
And that's how you
things
keep
that
the
you don't
friendship.
find in a
You can
five-star hotel
never
is what you find
uh,
in these kind of cruise lines. So they are just
win an
amazing,
argument
which it's not very
and keep the
popular in
friendship.
India
You cannot.
because we do not have
All
such
right?
cruise lines operating
So
from
losing
Cochin
an
or from
argument
Goa.
is
You have
better
these star
than
cruises,
losing a
which is not even a
friend.
shade
So
of
remember that
how
always. And
these
there's
cruise
another
lines
funny
are.
thing,
So they are
it
majestic.
said,
They're only
never
one
wrestle
third
with a
these star
pig.
cruises, and
Pig.
still they do
Yeah?
have a full
Never wrestle,
occupancy
wrestle,
most
never
of the time. But
wrestling.
unlike
Never
United
argue.
States, where
The saying
it's a
it goes like
craze
this.
among Americans
Never
and
wrestle with a
Europeans to go on
pig
a cruise,
because
especially
you get
Americans, not much
dirty
of
and the
Europeans.
pig likes
So,
it.
it's like
So,
you
for
will not
example, if
find
your
in one
friend wanted to
American
be
who hasn't been
very
on a cruise. So that's how
snobbish, being
United
very
States cater to the market
hyper,
of such
they
a cruise,
wanted
and
to
cruise
cut you
companies, they
short,
come up with,
that kind of thing,
each
let him.
company come with one ship
Because
every
why
year.
having an
I mean,
argument
that's
with
a
him and then lose
billion
the
dollar.
friendship?
We are talking about
Remember,
7,900
in
crores
your
every
career,
year.
you
They
need
invest
to
in
have
ships and they
your
make the money
friends,
out of it. So
your
let's quickly go through the
co-workers
Symphony of
support
the
in
Seas.
order to get
That's
that promotion,
the
whatever.
one
So
you
it's
see in
going to
the
help
front
you.
is the largest
Get that
ship in the
habit of
world. That
never
holds about
going
10,000
shoulder to
people.
shoulder with someone, your
So you
friends,
should
because you're going to
imagine
lose them.
it's
All right.
not going on
Next
a day
is
and coming back. It's
having to
7 days.
be
The
right
cruise is for
always.
7 days.
Having to
One
be
cruise
right
means,
always is
you hop
never
in on
possible.
Sunday
Now, if the other person
afternoon
has the
onto the
habit of
ship and
always
you
wanted to be right,
disembark from
let
the
go.
ship
Let
on
him
the
be right.
following Sunday
Okay.
morning,
As I said
meaning
earlier,
7 days
never
you are in the
argue with
ship,
the
meaning
friend
seven
because,
days
at the
every
back
day
of
they
the
make
mind, what you
around
have to
30
keep
to
is never wrestle with the
32,000
pig because the
meals.
pig
Every
likes to
day
get
they
dirty.
make
A pig
multiplied
likes
by
to get
seven.
you
This is the kind
dirty
of
and the pig
food
enjoys
they
it.
store. So
All
you can
right. So
imagine
remember that. Next,
the cold storage
find
containers
your friend's
inside the
interests
walk-ins, what they
and
call the
remember
deep freezer. They are
little
so
details,
massive. They
including
are so
name. They
geared up
say,
to freeze in such food and keep it refrigerated.
or I say,
So
my name
it's
is the
not
sweetest
it's not
name,
an
the
easy thing.
sweetest
Plus,
word in
again,
the
the
word
water,
in this
the drinking
world. I
water
like
is
my
another
name to
thing,
be
which of
called
course,
of me.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
I like to be
itinerary. Basically, every
called
ship
of
goes to
my
three
name. It's all
ports,
my
and
name.
those
All
port
right, it's all
of
about
calls is what they
me. Your
call
name
port
is the
of
sweetest name,
calls.
the
They go
sweetest
to three
word, and you
port
like
of
to hear
calls
it again and
every
again.
week,
That's how it
and they
is.
are
So
amazingly
there are some
beautiful.
people who
So
always,
basically, they start
like
from
to be
Miami
given
and
more
come back to
interest.
Miami.
And
They start from
remember,
Los
in a
Angeles, come back to
conversation,
Los Angeles.
okay,
They
if you
start from New
remember a
York
person's
and come
name,
back to
and
New
when I used to
York,
work in the
but they
ship,
see three
as
ports in
being an assistant
between.
manager, I
And
had
this
a
is
lot of
what the
waiters
passengers
working under
come for,
me,
but it's
and
not
there were some very
the
vague
places that
names.
they see,
You
but
had all
it's
those
the
Russians, we had,
service that the
girls
crew
and guys
members
from
provide
Slovakia, Czech Republic,
is
Slovenia,
phenomenal. So this is what they
Croatia,
come for. So,
Montenegro,
in a
Serbia.
ship,
These
it's
names are
like
weird,
it's
Polish people. Their
completely
names
service
are so
oriented
weird.
because
But if you don't
they
pronounce their
bring
names
the
properly, they
lifetime
don't like it.
savings, to
They
come
come and
on a
ask, you don't
week
remember
cruise
my
with their
name and you're my
family.
manager?
And
See,
it's the
that's not
duty of the
India.
crew members to
Here,
make
maybe you
sure
don't
that
dread to
they
talk to
leave
your
happy.
boss like that, but
So
there, anything is possible.
complaints are taken
You
very,
should know
very
how to deal with them.
seriously.
So they're gonna,
I
they're gonna
mean,
ask me. I
the
had a
work
remember a
on a
girl called
ship is not a
Agnieszka.
job, it's more a
So even if I
slavery.
tell, if I don't tell it in
Our
that right
job
Polish
is
accent,
to bend
Agnieszka,
over
she's going to get
360
wild with
degrees
me.
and please
And she
every
has
passenger
indeed
that
got
comes
wild
on
also because
board.
now the way I
The
pronounce is
management
not the way
cannot
how I used to
entertain
pronounce it when I was
one
21,
bad
22
complaint
year old.
because
Because
that's word
being
of the
there
mouth, bad word of the
in
mouth, and they
17
go around
years, I
telling that
learned
no
how to
Carnival
pronounce
cruise
their
lines
names.
is not
But
good.
if
I
I
went
ask
on
you
to
to
Symphony
pronounce
of the Seas, the
Agnieszka, you will
largest ship,
not be
but the
able
crew
to,
members are not good. So
let alone
this is
spelling
something
that
which we
word.
need to
That's
avoid. So let me
impossible.
show you the
That's next
Symphony
to
of the Seas. I'll
impossible to
go
spell
a
that
bit
word. So
fast, so
you
that
got to remember
I'll
their
have
names.
time for the
And
rest
so
of
if
the
you know
things
a
to finish,
friend, try
because
to remember
I
their
got a
names.
couple of
And when
stories
you
to
see
tell
them
you.
next time,
All right,
hi,
let's
Mr.
go.
Arun, how are you? Or Miss Lakshmi, how are you? This kind of thing. And they're going to like you. Oh, she remembers my name, right? That person also will try to remember your name next time. So next is when you're speaking to an audience, right? You should ask questions. Otherwise, the entire process will be dull and drab. All right. So, and when you ask any questions, they're going to tell you the answer. But agree with it, even if you don't. Agree with it, and then you give your remarks or whatever you want to say. So this is the
Miss,
way
can you
how it's
see?
done. Ask your
Yeah, I
audience
can watch the
questions.
video.
Agree
Watch
to
the
them.
video,
Even
no
when you're
sound.
speaking to
Yeah,
your
I know.
friends, they
That's sad.
might not agree with you on certain opinions, right? They might not agree with your opinions, but then agree with it and then tell whatever you feel. I feel it this way, which I'm going to come to the next one. I feel it this way. So, I completely agree with your point. I completely agree with what your point, but, I would like to add in some more these kind of things. Okay. Next, the last one
Sir,
is
one
avoid
suggestion,
being
please.
funniest,
You
Yeah,
can
sure.
best,
tell them which
and
are
worst.
according to the
Okay.
video.
Oh,
This
they
is
can
So what
hear
does
the
it
me, right?
mean?
That's good.
When
yeah.
someone
Okay, so
tells
I mean,
a
let
joke,
me
you want to go on top of that and
let
create
me
an
go back to
impression and you say
the
something
dining
more
room. These are
funnier.
the dining rooms.
Yeah,
As I said, they are
avoid
huge. They
that
can hold about
because
2,000.
no
There's
one
enough
likes
space to
to
move
get the
around.
better of
So
myself,
that's the dining
himself,
room.
whoever.
And
No one likes to get the better of that person. So, avoid trying to be more funnier or,
okay,
like,
the noise is
what
too
did you
loud.
study? Oh, you have a
Okay,
PhD. I
so
have a
these
doctorate.
are
I mean,
the
double doctorate I
what do you
have.
call
What I did
the
from
shopping
sort of
arcades? Wow,
IIT and so here, I have a double PhD. Don't. Your PhD is yours. You keep it
my
yours. So you don't
ears are
have to
almost
flaunt it,
blasting off.
and
So
break that
let me reduce
friendship.
the
So
volume a bit.
don't try to get the
I'm
better
not
of
able
that
to talk.
person,
Okay.
which no one is
So,
going to
well,
like.
this is of course the
All right?
studio.
And of course, being worst. Okay, so when as I
These
said,
are
the
all
better
the
one,
shopping
like for
arcades
example, you
and
say,
the
where do you live? I
common
live in
public
that
areas.
kind of village, and when it's raining, it's horrible. Anytime water
This is
goes
of course
into
the
gets
restaurant
into
again.
the house, and it's a huge
There you see a
problematic. So,
steak
oh, you are
and
living
of
there?
course
I'm
some
living
delicious
in
pastries.
right proper downtown means center of Thrissur. No
Of
flood
course, the
there. I live in
casinos
a
where they make a
fantastic.
lot of
How
money.
are you able
Now,
to live in
let
such
me
a
tell you
place? It's a
why
horrible place.
there are
Anytime
only
how
very
are you
few
able to
people,
sleep in
because this
peace?
is the
And
inaugural
anytime
cruise
water
where
will come in,
only
and
the crew
then what's
members
going to happen?
and
What if the guys die?
the
What if
management,
it
the
floods?
owners, their
No,
families, they are the only
right?
ones who are
So
you see
your
here.
house is in
But if
whatever
it's a
downtown,
normal
fine.
cruise,
That's
then
fine.
we are talking about
Empathize with the
10,000
person.
people milling
I said, oh,
around
that's
the
I mean,
entire ship.
hopefully this
So,
time the flood
it's
is
not
not
going to
going
be
to
the
be as
same
bad
like
as
this.
year
You will
before
see
last.
people
Hopefully,
all
it's going to be
over.
get better.
And,
So
it's
coming
the
to
cleaners
worst,
who
if
do their
someone
cleaning.
tells,
I mean, it's a
I
it's a
lost my
cycle.
so and
It's
so,
a
I
complete
lost my brother
process
in a very
where of
tragic incident
work from
in a
every crew
lorry. I mean,
members
in
putting
a
in their
car
entire
accident.
dedication in order to
So you
see that the
don't
ship is spick and
cut back and
span.
say
So
that
it's an
my
job
dad, my
what all the crew
brother died
members
in
do
a
to
lorry
see the ship
accident.
like
He
this.
was crushed
This
to
is of course
death.
the
Oh,
inaugural
come on.
cruise, so it is so
His
dazzling,
worst, he's just
beautiful.
trying
But
to,
again, you
throw
see
off that
this
sorrow to
after 3 years,
You
it's
don't
still
make
going
it
to look
even
like
worse and
this
tell that mine
because they
had
do
an
such.
even
I
more
mean, this
worse
is the beauty
experience.
parlor
So,
that you see right there.
avoid that. So
So that's
avoid
how
being
they
funniest,
maintain,
best,
and
and worst.
it's
Okay.
amazing.
Keep it
That's a
on
spa
par, gauge how
where there's a
the
massage
situation
and
is, and that's
stuff.
how it is. All right. Let's move on to the
Here for
next
the
one.
children, the merry-go-round,
Keep
and
the audience guessing. This
these are the
is
swimming
crucial.
pools. There are at least
Right?
about 8 to 10
You
swimming pools because
start up
otherwise, you cannot
a
accommodate all these
conversation with
people,
someone,
who
or
dive
when
for
you
a
are
swim. And
speaking
this
to
is
an
the Lido, which
audience.
is the
All right,
topmost deck of
you
the
have
ship
to
where
keep them
food is there
guessing
24
always
hour,
what's going to
24
come,
hours
or else what
available.
happens? They
The
start
sandwiches.
dozing off. They start
Okay,
sleeping off
these
because
places are
nothing
all
is
packed
interesting.
during a
This
normal
person has
cruise.
that
There is
same
no place to move.
tone of
It's a Thrissur
voice in
Puram
a
all over.
monotonous voice. He
When
keeps,
10,000 people are
like
packed in,
a
it's not a joke. Yeah,
kind
this is
of
all so clean now because it's an
like a
inaugural
bee.
cruise. And there's a
It's
park
boring.
for
He
people to
puts
play
off to
around.
sleep. So always keeps the audience guessing.
This
And
is water
how.
skating.
These are my 6 ways how to do it. All right. First is start off with something shocking. You start off with your speech. For example, your speech is going to be for an hour. Yeah, it's going to be for an hour.
It's the
And
topmost
how you got
deck
to, they
called the
always come
pool
with a
deck or
negative
the Lido
mindset telling
deck,
that,
where
oh,
only
look at
food
that guy.
and
He's a
swimming is
bald guy
available.
and
Of
short
course, there are
guy.
bars all over. There are
He's
almost
going to
like about
bore me
16
to
to
death.
18
I'm
bars
getting ready
because
with
they make
all
a lot
my,
of money there.
around so that
Americans
they
love to
don't realize
drink.
that I'm sleeping
They
and then
have
get
they
ready
like
to
to eat
sleep.
and
This is
drink and
how
have
their
all the
mindset
fun.
becomes. So
So that's
when you start
why
off with
cruising has
something
become a
shocking
very
that they
popular
wanted to
thing in
listen,
America
I mean, you can start off with a joke
because they're
also. You can
never
start off
tired
with
of cruising.
story. I just put it
Look at that, how
broadly,
elegant
generally
they
telling
look.
something
Even a
shocking
five-star
to,
hotel will not
make
provide
them
such
sit up. Yeah. For example, how
comfort.
about, you go to a girls' college
Comfort
and
at
then
its zenith.
you have this audience
And they
packed.
take care of you so
Yeah,
well.
the
You could
auditorium is
find a
packed, and you start
rude
off with something that,
crew member, a
girls, you got
staff in a
something
five-star hotel, but
very,
never in
very
a ship
interesting.
because
I
they
don't
are
know if it's
taken
a good
very
news or a
seriously,
bad
those
news, but
complaints.
then let me assure you, from next year, This college is going to be a mixed
You can
college.
never run out of food. You can
You're
never
going
run
to
out of
have some
water.
dashing, handsome guys.
All the
here.
facilities.
What do
Never
you
run
feel
out of
about it?
towels.
Everyone is excited if it's a girls' college. Again, some girls might not take it the right way, but
I've
I
seen
guess
some people
70 to
using
80% of the
5-6
girls are going to
towels.
take it.
And then
Wow,
you can
that's
never run out of
nice. So
towels.
no more
You know,
sleep.
it's a
Everyone is sitting up.
hectic thing to
What's
keep it
next
moving
going to
like
come?
this.
So this is
calm and
how you
serene.
get that audience into your
So
hand. I mean, you
that's how
can't
things
go
are.
dull
So,
under telling
and
that.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Of
My
course, I
name is
fast forward a
Davis,
little bit
and
fast. This is the
I
theater.
work in Jyoti Engineering
Okay, look at
College,
the
and
size of the
thank you
screen,
all
and this
for
is the
being
theater.
here. Today, I'm going to speak about the weather.
Okay, lots of
Today,
discotheques and
the weather is not very good.
So that's the
You can
absolute best
you can
interior
almost hear
part of
someone
the ship.
snoring. Yeah.
Okay.
Next, let's move on to the next one.
Save the
Don't
best for
praise
the
self.
last.
Don't praise yourself too much. This is not, I'm talking about an audience, whether you're talking to your friend or
So
whoever
that's
it is,
about the
even
two
into an
videos,
audience, don't praise yourself.
which I
Don't praise
promised.
about your qualifications,
And
about the
now,
kind of place that you work, the kind of money that you made, the kind of expensive stuff you have. What if you're talking to someone who is poor, who can't afford a square meal a day, and you go praising yourself? It doesn't, sell well, right? That's not very good.
Now, as I promised,
so
I'm going to
avoid
tell you a very
praising
interesting
yourself.
story.
Next, use humor.
So you're all ready for
This
it?
is the most important thing, how to keep an audience guessing.
It's a thing.
Right?
It's
Your
incident that
humor
happened
always
in the
sells. Who doesn't
ship.
like
It was
a joke in this world?
my
There is
third,
no human being. All right? Only a dead human being will not like humor. Otherwise, everyone
it
likes
was
humor.
1990.
Okay? Now,
The
want to hear a
calendar.
little joke?
Excuse me, sir.
December 23rd. Can you hear me?
You know,
Your
when
sound
I
is breaking.
married
Sound is breaking.
my wife,
Breaking out.
when you get married, you
Okay.
always talk good things. You
Now
tell,
it's
oh, you're the
What should I
most
do?
beautiful woman I
okay.
ever
Now
Is it okay
seen,
now?
and so and
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
You make them
So
feel so good. You
you heard
promise
my earlier
them
things what I said,
diamond
right?
rings and what sort of thing. You
Hello?
make them feel
You can
so good in
restart.
front
Once
of
again,
their
you can
colleagues
start
or
it.
friends or
I'll
whoever
restart.
it is,
Okay,
in front
so
of relatives, and
as I
you
promised,
praise
I'm
them
going to
so
tell
much.
you a story,
But the
an
pity
incident.
is,
It's not a
these
story,
wives
it's
take
actually
it
an
for
incident that
granted.
happened
They feel it's the truth.
in the ship. My
Oh,
first
my
ship that
husband
I
loves me.
worked
He hasn't
on,
seen
that
anyone
was
more beautiful than me. How
1990,
much my husband loves me.
December
Kind of thing.
23rd. If you check the calendar,
But as years go by,
I promise it will be a
4 5 years from
Sunday.
then,
The first day of
things
the
become
cruise,
different. More
and I
responsibilities
joined
in
in
life.
October.
You broke
I
on the
joined in
promise of the
October
diamond ring.
1990.
You broke on the
And
promise of
as I
telling
said,
my
I
wife is the
started off
most
as an
beautiful
assistant
woman.
manager, but
So what happens?
I always
My
found
wife
my
told me,
communication
you are
lacking.
double-faced.
Although I had a good knowledge,
When we got married, you
fairly
talked
good
all
knowledge of
those
English,
big
I
things,
always
and
had
now
this
see,
problem communicating
you
with
fell back
people
on all
and
back promises.
getting the
You
jokes
have two
fast
faces.
and returning the jokes, which
So
is a must when you
I
have to
said,
work in a
if
cruise
I have
line.
two
And
faces, why
I
would I
thought
keep
I
this
was a
ugly
square
face?
peg in a round hole,
I hope
which
you
means
understood
you are a
that joke.
misfit. So
So
I
the thing is, when you tell jokes, you got to read the minds of the people. Now, for example, you go to
contemplated on what should I do. Five-star hotel, and I moved to a cruise line
college where you're going
the
to
pay
try
is
to
very
teach them
good, but I
basic
knew the
English.
work is really
And then you
tiring.
start off with humor
So
like
let me
this.
come back to the
They're
story.
not going to like much. I mean, they're not
So
going
it
to
so
understand
happened
it.
on December
Okay,
23rd,
they might not like much
Sunday
also
evening.
because
Dinner
I
was
told something
about to
joke
start.
about my wife,
A
and
dinner
that's not
service
good.
is
And these people are going to
massive.
be
People run
bad, sir.
up and
That's not
down, the
good, sir. You
waiters.
should say
And
your wife is the
here I
most
was,
beautiful woman in the world, and you
assistant
should buy
manager
her
duty. I
diamond
had
rings and all
about,
that. They can't take
about
it
10
as a
or
joke.
15
So
tables under
read,
me. And I had this. I hope you all can hear me, right? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So, I was evening. I came nice shower, and I came ready for work. And Sunday evening is a hectic day because people come on a cruise. As I said earlier, Sunday is when the cruise starts. So they have lunch at the Lido, and then they come down, take a shower, and then come ready for the attack. So they're all hungry. And it's not like the restaurants here, whether you bring in a chicken biryani, you put in a raita and some salad, and then done. You serve, dump it on the table, and run away. No, it's a very elaborate process of serving food in a cruise lines. You go with appetizers, soup, salads, main course, pasta. You have cheeses, you have an entremet, which is a kind of a half dessert, followed by a dessert, and lots of things that goes on. So a lot of people do not know how to order and stuff like that. So this, the waiter took the order for that couple. So I saw there was something amiss, which means something was wrong with the couple. They didn't look very what do you call, calm. They were kind of frustrated with each other, I should say, and they sat on this table for two. So I thought their argument was a bit louder, and they were served wine. So within about, say, 3-4 minutes, I saw this man shoving the glass of wine onto her face. So this, in my 2-3 months of experience, haven't seen anything like that, but it took me by shock. So I was wondering what's going on. And I thought, I should inform the manager, the dining room manager. I thought I should inform, but I thought, I'll have a go. And then I went to that manager's dining room and then come back. He said, "Get the heck out of here. Who are you?" Things like that. I backed off. So I didn't know what to do. So, a little later, I saw the lady get up and leave the dining room. The young man was sitting there. Oh no, the waiter served him the next glass of wine. He was having the wine. The other person was cleaning up another busboy, the assistant to the waiter, was cleaning up the mess. And I saw this lady leave, in sheer frustration, anger. And she left, and I was thinking what to do next. I thought she will come back. She will cool down and she will come back. But that did not happen. The guy was sitting there and he was having his whatever meals, not very happy. I didn't bother to strike a conversation with him. And I had other tables to look after too. I just have to go to other tables and say, "Hello, how are you?" This is all I could talk, nothing beyond that. So 10 minutes into that, 15 minutes into that, I got a call from nearby someone. I don't remember really who the person called. Said, "The captain wants you." I almost started peeing in my pants. Captain calling me for what? He's the lord of the ship. He's considered the greatest of the ship, and he's on the fourth deck all the way in the front. Imagine going to his room, and I was literally peeing in my pants. So I asked what happened. He said, "No, some problem, but he wants to see you right now." So I quickly went and told the dining room manager that I have to take leave, and I went straight to the captain. And you can imagine how I would look at the age of 21. I am your age at that time. So I was there waiting outside the captain's door. The place where they navigate the ship is called bridge. Just behind is the captain's room. It's huge. It's a huge room with all facilities because captain is a lord of the ship, a highly paid navigator. The navigator, he must be around 50, 55, unless otherwise you can't be a captain of such a master. They are called master of such a big cruise line. So I went there waiting outside, and this man was furious at me. He said, "What happened at your table?" I said, "No, there was a fight between these two, and then one young couple. They look like about 27, 28-year-old, and the man showered wine onto her face, and she walked away. This is all I know." So he asked me, "Did you try to talk to them? Did you try to talk to that man and keep things under control? There's a huge dining room, so many people are watching." I said, "I didn't know much about it, sir. Sorry." And in my slow English, I told I was trembling. I was shuddering there. I didn't know what to do. So he said, "Go back, see your dining room manager." I went to the dining room manager. I talked to him. He said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Davis, you know what your job is? Your job is to make sure that there are no problems in your area of the dining room. And look at this. You maligned my reputation. That is, you made my reputation bad. I have a very good, decent reputation. I know this dining room manager. His name is Farhad Flafizi. He's an Egyptian, a person whom I can never forget in my life." So this man said, "You're not ready to be an assistant manager. Okay, I'm going to suspend you for a month. It's because I know you're educated, you are new to the company, but the thing is you lack communication skills. You're not able to talk to people and convince." And I told you earlier, I was almost peeing. Now I fully peed and made my underwear wet. So seriously, imagine being suspended in the third month of your career. That's a shame. So he told me, "Davis, you need a break. I don't think this is your right place. Think about it. You have 1 month to think about it. Go to your cabin." Now, cabins are on the bottommost, it's below we crew members live below the sea level. There are 3 decks below sea level. That's where all the crew members, other than the captain, of course, and the senior officers, we all lived up. I went there, and this is where I was thinking, where am I going wrong? A simple place where a lot of people from Spain and so, very third world countries coming to work, and I'm not able to pull it off. So I thought, what should I do? Believe it or not, that 1 month of my suspension turned my life around. I thought, this is not the way for me to go if I have to make money here. And I was determined to make money and live large in life, meaning live wealthy in life. I decided that day that 1 month from now, I'm going to change myself, turn things around, and be a different person. Now, coming back, if you see in the PowerPoint that I have shown, to be a good storyteller, first you got to hold the people's interest, the listener's interest. Now, you must be wondering what happened to that woman who left and why the captain was very pissed. It's not for a small thing that they fought and that lady left. Now, what happened to that lady? We don't know. Okay? So, the thing about story is you start with a hook. Of course, I'm going to tell you what happened to that lady soon. You have to arouse curiosity in the minds of the listeners, and you should trigger their imagination. What should have happened to that lady? Right? True. You can't leave your viewers in suspense for a long time. You should reveal, because otherwise they'll be thinking, what happened to that lady? What happened to that fight? Let me tell you. When I went to my room after say about half an hour, 1 hour, I came to know that lady jumped from the ship. Okay? There were so many incidents in my 17 years, which is around 890 weeks I worked in ships. I had numerous incidents, but this incident completely stands out as an incident which, from my own table, a lady went to commit suicide. Well, it's not actually suicide. She jumped from the 5th or the 6th deck of the ship. The ship is already sailing. It's Sunday evening. Ship is already sailing. And what happened was, when you jump from a ship, what happens? The propellers, the front and back, there are 3 propellers in the front, 3 propellers at the back. They suck you inside and just make a mincemeat out of you. And that's what happened. What happened was, as soon as something happens, the captain immediately calls the Coast Guard, which is the Coast Guard is coastline police. They come with a helicopter and all that, quickly have this rescue boats, and they come check, they swirl around the ship and see what's, they just saw blood. Okay, that person was minced, like mincemeat. Okay, well, she died. So this is what happened. So coming back, no, this is a real incident. It's not a story. This is a real incident. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you tell a story, you should arouse curiosity. You should let the people imagine what should have happened. Either before they were getting married, they were already planning to break the relationship, or she went somewhere. Why was the man sitting there? Why was the man pouring water? Why was I called by the captain? Why was I called by the dining manager and then suspended? If not, there is a big reason this should not have happened. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you have to let the people imagine. Okay? Coming to the next one. When you tell a story to the people, all right, or to your friends or whoever it is, you should imagine, now if I tell you this story, you sort of interested. Now if I tell this to maybe a chartered accountant, he might not be of much interest. Okay, you should see what interests the person who is going to listen to you. Okay, that's why it's called VFM. Is a very important terminology, which means what's in it for me. The entire audience likes to hear only things they want to hear. Otherwise, the rest of them will be censored. And remember, if you have to hold the people, their attention, it will not last for more than 4 point something minutes. That's what I read. 4.5, 4. Beyond 5 minutes, they are lost, in case you're not able to keep the audience glued to you, glued to listening to you. Okay? Now let's move on. Now, how do you build a connection? How do you build a connection with the people? The best way is to tell personal stories, but again, cautiously. What do you mean cautiously? You can't just reveal all your personal details of yourself to the people. That's why I said personal stories, but cautiously, things only what they need to know. Right? And you can always ask open-ended questions, whether if they're on the same page with you. You can ask them yes, no questions, or what is their idea. Or if you feel that audience is quite ignorant of the thing, you ask them a question and you tell the answer yourself. That's the best way, because once you feel that you ask a question and they don't know. Now, if we ask you, in the 10 ships that I showed, which was the longest ship that you saw? Of course, you don't know. So quickly, I should say, oh, that's about 320 meters long. That's what I said, or 1,180 feet long. Oh, that's right. Okay. So you ask the question and you tell the answer yourself. If you can gauge that the people did not know the answer for it, and that's very important. So what do you normally tell in a story? In a story, you normally tell kind of a story of a renewal, which means a kind of inspirational stories, right? Um, you went on a journey and you returned, like not a real journey going by bus and coming back. I don't mean that. You're going on a journey to achieve something and then you came back victoriously. Things like inspirational stories really sell. All right. Talk about rags to riches. I was born very poor. I started from a very humble family background, but then I worked my way through. Today I could live luxuriously. This is my message for everyone, kind of thing. Rags to riches stories always sell. Tragedy comedy always helps. Tragedy, oh yeah, it always sells. Make it emotional, sentimental. It always sells. Telling comedy. Comedy is not easy. As I said the other day, you should always watch some good sitcoms like. Friends, The Big Bang Theory, All in a Family. These kind of sitcoms, when you watch, you will see some very up-class comedy, which you can always use. All right? And so basically, these are the kind of questions which kind of a connection that you make, you bond with the listeners, okay? Next, if you see anecdotes that illustrate struggle, failure. Anecdotes are incidents that happened in your life that you're trying to relate with the people and how you overcame those barriers, things like that. Right. So the next is share first-hand thoughts and feelings. Humor always helps. All right. First-hand thoughts in the sense like you do not speak about thoughts of others. Okay. That's coming to you. Let it be novel. Let it be realistic. Let it be new. Let it be refreshing. These are the kind of thoughts that you transfer to the people so that it gets them to think. Because if you start telling something which they already heard, that's not going to help you. Now, for example, I mean, in my story of the couple that I saw and the what do you call the cruise lines that I showed you, that definitely you would not know much about cruise lines until I showed the ship. Because yes, there are ships like these, but I'm 100% sure that you would not know that there are such large ships that existed. So you could always tell something that's new. All right, so this is how you build a connection. Now let's me come to the I mean, there's one incident that I told about Farhad Flafizi, which I said, he's the one who inspired me in my life. If you ask me one person that inspired me in my life, it's this dining room manager called Farhad Flafizi. He was in his late 40s, a kind of baldy guy, bald guy with big paunch. He was very cute. He had a way, very charismatic. Anytime when I see this word charisma, what is charisma? Charisma is being very suave, very kind of a cultured, a person, well dressed, well educated, who has a way to deal with people, who has an art of communication to impress people. This is called charisma. So whenever I see this word charisma, I always think of this guy. All right, you know what? When we were in the dining room, when meeting starts, this man will stand there with his big paunch and bald head, with his hands, folded backward. I mean, held backwards. He will stand there and he will tell. Before Sunday evening, we have a briefing. So this man says, Welcome, my dear boys and girls. We had a lot of girls working there too. Boys and girls. You know, welcome to the dining room. Some of you are new here. Some of you had been here for a few years. This is something which I have been telling you every week, and I'd like to tell again. Now, what you see around the four walls is the dining room. And what lets you into the dining room is a huge revolving door. You know, a revolving door is something that keeps rotating because it lets the waiters come in and go out. And you have to be quick, otherwise the revolving door will bang on your head or on the tray that you're carrying. So please tell, you guys all have sorrows, because if you are a happy family, you wouldn't be here working on a ship. He used to be so bluntly tell us, he'll put us to shame. But that's the kind of people who are coming to work on ships then. He said, you all have your sorrows, right? You all have your pains, you all have your torn families. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But remember one thing, the people who come here are here to pay your bread and butter. They spend all their lifetime savings to come on a cruise and have a fun with their family in this. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. All I want you to, when you walk into that revolving door from there, leave all your sorrows outside. You will put a real smile or you fake it. When you walk inside the dining room, you must be smiling. There is no word called frowning in your dictionary once you start working in my dining room. Frowning is making a long face, being unhappy. You cannot. You have to look fresh. You will work 7 days in a week, 14, 15 hours a day. It doesn't matter to me. You chose to be here. Again, the ship will be leaving at 6:30. If you have any change of plans, make it now. You're ready to leave the ship. I'll ask the captain to hold on the ship and you can leave. Go back to India, or Honduras, or Philippines, or Indonesia, or Pakistan, or Sri Lanka, or whichever country you come from. Live happily with your family ever after. But when you are here, you have to be a showman. And this is what stayed in my mind for that 1 month. I started changing myself during suspension. I changed myself to be a better speaker, to be a better communicator, to be friendly with people, and never say no to people for any request. And this is the mark of a service-oriented man. Okay. Now, let me come to the questions, how storytelling is effective. Okay. Where does it play a big role? All right. Listen carefully. Now, when you have an interview, I do have this interview, kind of mock interviews in my college, and I normally ask questions to students. Sunita, did you have your breakfast? I mean, welcome to the interview. We are nice to have you here, and I hope it's your first interview. And tell me, did you have your breakfast? How would you answer this? To a question, did you have your breakfast? The answer is no or yes. But that's where the problem lies in. If you see on the screen, it says build a connection, build a bonding. You have to bond with the interviewer, with the listener, whoever it is, across you. You have to build a bond, and for which an answer like, does the interviewer really care if you had breakfast or not? No, of course he doesn't care. What he's interested is if you think you can strike a conversation. So if I were asked a question from an interviewer who comes from Mumbai to take my interview, I would say, oh, indeed, I did have my breakfast. In fact, breakfast is my choicest meal of the day. What I had today was my favorite puttu. Puttu is kind of, if you don't know, let me explain what is puttu. Puttu is a kind of I would say a cylindrical cake made with a steamed rice flour with some delicious coconut in it, put a little bit of sugar, and it goes well with some kadala curry, what we call, or with bananas. It goes fantastic. I would like to have it with bananas. So, it's my favorite. But anyway, thank you for asking me, sir. You see my answer. This is how you answer for a question like, did you have breakfast? Now, never think the interviewer is going to think, all I had was, did you have breakfast? You tell me yes or no. No. The interviewer has that in mind to see if you're a good communicator, if you can blend well with the team members in the company if I hire you. Okay, let's come to the second question. Do you go to the college by bus? A question like this, how do you say yes, no? No, I don't go. I come by cycle. This is not what I asked. Even if you don't come by bus, you have to say, yes, indeed, I come by bus, but that's the most interesting part in a day for me. Traveling with my friends in a bus, talking the same or our, congenial, complementary ideas we share, and that's the best part. But indeed, I mean, it's a coincidence that you asked me today if I came by bus, because today I found something a remarkable thing. 2 kilometers to the college, there was a stop, and our bus stopped, our college bus stopped, and I saw one little boy. I'm sure he's not more than 9 or 10 years old. Now, this little boy was trying to lead a blind man across the road, and his bus, this guy also wanted to go by bus, and his bus was waiting for the little boy to get that old man across, the blind old man across the road. And it stunned me as to how nice that boy. I really wanted to get down, give that boy, little boy, a hug. How many of us would do that when our college bus is waiting? This is something that I saw today, sir. But coincidentally, you asked me this, and I enjoyed sharing that with you, sir. But thank you for asking me, sir. Something like that. So these are the kind of questions you should ask. Do you have a lot of friends? You should not say yes or no. Answers like, do you have a lot of friends? I do have a lot of friends, but I have some friends who are very useful to me, who impart knowledge to me. I have some friends who are nice, fun-loving people. And then you can go blah, blah, blah. I'm not going into details. I can talk forever, on topics like these, but this is how you exaggerate a bit, and the interviewers love to listen to that. And trust me or not, believe me or not, when you answer like this, the real technical questions are going to be very easy, because they know technical questions you can always find an answer when you start working. But social skills is something which will not come overnight. Now, as I told you that 1 month of suspension I was in the ship, I completely transformed, metamorphosized myself. I transformed myself in that 1 month. Would it be possible today? No, because I'm old now. I have my own egos. I will not let myself bend and twist and turn, because my mindset, this is all formed and framed. You guys are young. This is the time to transform yourself, okay, and become good, have good social skills, and connect with people. All right. So those are the three things that I wanted to tell you about the interview, because there are so many interviews, any kind of questions. Don't think they are silly questions. Those are genuine questions to break the ice. And this is the way you have to gain your mark score, show that you're a good communicator. So as I said, that needs connection. Now, the next one is, how do you conclude a storytelling? Now, when I say a storytelling, it's not someone asking you to tell a story about a hare and a tortoise. That's not, I mean, anything that you say should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Now, when I told about the incident about the couple, that arguing, fighting couple, I started with that they were in their bed and they were arguing. And then I said, the couple was arguing about
Hello. Sir, hello. 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 Can the participants hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
miss. Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. The technician has gone there. He will make it ready. Okay. Please wait. Sir, your
Can
audio
you hear
is.
me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Is,
It's
so
audible now.
where is the last I spoke that you could hear? I mean, what was it about that I said?
Yeah, to finish or the end the story. How to send the
To
story.
end the
And
story. Okay. So okay. Until then, everything was audible, right?
yeah.
To give a conclusion, I mean, as I said, this is not about you speaking to someone and did you hear about? I mean, was it audible when I spoke about the couple that I saw and I gave it an introduction, so and so? Did you hear that?
No,
Hello?
no, no, no.
Adil,
We
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
hear that.
So I'm I'm sorry, students. I have to take at least 2-3 extra minutes. By 3:08, I will let you off. Okay. So about, I mean, as I said, when you are speaking to someone, or you, as I said about the couple who fought in the restaurant, the dining room, I gave an introduction about as to how old they were, how the dining room was busy. In the evening, they took order, and then the wine was thrown. I didn't directly say they got into a fight. That means you would not know why the fight. Where is this? What was the problem? Sort of thing. So give it an introduction. There must be a body, and there must be a conclusion. And when you're telling a story, your message should always have a resonating effect, a message, a clear cut message, an inspiration, or what we should do next, kind of a good message. And that gives a resonating, a lasting effect to the listener. And this is very important. Okay. So these are the three things that you need to remember when you have to storytell. And remember, humor always helps. And for humor, we need to do a lot of practice. Now, these are the do's and don'ts. Read very quickly. The do's are: consider your audience. As I said, you can't uh, to a very basic audience, you can't go with all rhetoric, which means all technical things you cannot go, because they're not going to enjoy it. All right. Identify the moral or message you want to import, what you wanted to tell them. Yeah. Find inspiration from your life experiences always helps, because when you talk about your life, what you went through, your journey, it always connects well with the audience. Now, what you should not, okay, assume that you do not have any storytelling art. Now, until that month when I was in suspension, I thought I was a dull guy who had a horrible childhood. I have no stories to tell. But it's not that. I found stories. Now, if you ask me any stories, I can exaggerate to a certain extent. I can make it humorous. I can make it sentimental. I can make it any way you want. I can bend it and twist it and turn it the way I want. It all is your imagination and little bit of good vocabulary, good idioms that you can use. Nothing comes without practice. Nothing comes without practice. You need to practice in order to have a good communication skill to talk to people and impress them. Okay. Don't start without an introduction. Okay. Don't start without an introduction. Next, don't overwhelm your story with unnecessary details. Okay. Now, the details that I said about the ship is only one or two. Yes, there are time constraints, but even otherwise, I would not go into all the 890 weeks that I spent on the ship to tell you all details. More than anything, keep it kiss. Kiss not in the other sense. It means keep it short and sweet. Okay, kiss means keep it short and sweet. Don't prolong it and bore the audience. Now, question time and homework. Homework will be, again, I suggest, I hope you took my email address. Send me whatever you could, jot down something, send it to me. I'll show you how best to write it. Okay, make it precise, not more than 80 to 100 words. Write it to me and I'll correct it and send it back to you. These are the three lovely, interesting topics. Please make a note if you can. Do you like to gossip? Right? If so, who is the most you like to gossip about, whether at home or whether in college or whoever it is? Okay, how do you like to go? Make sure it is humorous. Yeah. Okay. Tell the story of a scar. Okay. I hope you know what's a scar. A physical one or an emotional one. All right. A scar that I have on maybe my back of my neck, whatever it is, a story of a scar. But again, remember, this has to be imaginative. Now you can't say I have no stories. It just came by itself. I have no story. No. Okay. Or could be a story that you went through an accident and there's a deep scar on your cheek. All right, which when people say, "Oh, what happened to that?" This is something which you wanted to go through every new stranger that you meet on the road, and you got to narrate the story, which is very I mean a what do you call a painful story you need to tell every time, or an emotional one, a deep scar that's not physical, but somewhere inside your mind it happened. You had some rough childhood, some bad parenting, and or with your friend, who you broke the relationship. Okay, with boy or girl, whoever it is, an emotional one. This is a beautiful one. That's something you can write. Okay, send it to me and correct. And next story is tell the story of the rabbit tortoise, which of course which you learned when you're kindergarten, with a twist. And it shouldn't be the same one. Okay, you can write the same one, nothing wrong, but give it a little bit of imagination and give that last minute turn, and it's going to sound fantastic. Okay, so before I go to the question time, if at all you're asking some questions, you will always ask me how to improve English. Very quickly go through this. This is what I suggest. Okay, read small books. Speak to yourself and think in English. As I told you the other day, whatever you're doing here and there, whether you're sitting at home, you're walking outside, we're sitting somewhere, I mean, wherever, whatever it is, just try to, now, when I said about that bus incident when I was traveling, there was a little boy who was trying to get that person across the road. There's nothing happened like that, but it's just my imagination. I said that little boy was trying to lead the blind man across the road when my bus was waiting and his bus was also waiting, and I wanted to get down and give him a hug. It's pure imagination, right? So this is how you think always in English, and you will be able to speak well, communicate well. WhatsApp in words and not in emojis. WhatsApp always in words. Use some English, little bit, add little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Visualize any incident and narrate in English. Watch comedy serials in English with subtitles. Okay, write 5 difficult words, meanings, and sentences on a flashcard every day. Try to remember those words. If you see any phrases, idioms, write it down, memorize it. I've been doing that for the last 20 years. Even today, when I see some words which I have not seen with some nice phrases, I write it down. And I make sure I go through again and again because human memory is short. We have to go through again and again. Okay, talk to best friends in English only. That way they don't tease you. If at all you feel that your friends will tease you if you speak broken English, talk to your best friends, and this is how you improve your English. Above all, no matter how many webinars you hear of whatever it is, you should have that willpower. It's your determination. You have to be steadfast. You have to be stubborn. You have to be, I will do it. That kind of attitude. I can do it. This kind of thing. Only then. All right. Last slide. Next title will be Speak with Poise. We'll be into the last session of our series, and that will be Speak with Poise. How you can speak effortlessly. Okay. Well, you might not be able to, but I'll tell you how you have to do a trick, how you can, so that you can speak with poise, so that nobody say, "Oh, his English is not good, her English is not good." How you're able to speak, even with limited English that how you can speak. So that's pretty much, I sum up, 3:10. Of course, there were a couple of breaks in between, but I happened to finish on time. Now, do you have any questions you can ask me? Miss.
Okay, do you have any dear participants? If you have any questions, unmute yourself and you can ask him directly.
Ask any
You can
questions.
even,
Yeah.
yeah, even you can ask in Malayalam if you are shy to tell. You should not
That
have to be shy. Still, you can, if you can't convey your doubt, you can talk in Malayalam also.
you can always do. They can ask in Malayalam, no issues at all. Because I have this problem in my college too. Because there are students who are very shy, who feel intimidated when I speak in the class, and they don't want to ask me questions. So you can't improve yourself if you're feeling intimidated. Intimidated എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പേടിയാവുക, right? If you feel shy, it will not work that way. Okay, you have to get rid of your shyness. Only then you can learn a language. Not English alone, any language. But English, the problem is not many of us speak. But Malayalam is something you got opportunities that you can always improve. But English is something which is rarely spoken. So no better way. There's nothing to feel shy about. So if you have any questions, please, the floor is open for you.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes, sure. Hi. What's your name?
It's not. My name is Devi.
Devi. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Devika
It's
Mohan.
not really. No, Devi Krishna.
Devi Krishna. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not related to English and all. I just wanna. I'm just eager to know that how much will it cost to spend 7 days on a cruise?
How much does it cost to spend 7 days on a cruise? It depends on the cabins that you live inside the ship, because the bottom decks are not that very expensive. But as you move up, the cabins are very luxurious, very comfy, and you have to pay a lot. So let me tell you, when I was working, I left 6 years ago. So in 2013, 14, a cabin costed around 800 for the lowest, and the highest was around $6,000. That's for a family, for a cabin. So $6,000 will work to around 5 to 6 lakhs. It's not expensive today. But when I joined in 1991, the cruise lines were very expensive. Only rich people could afford a cruise. But then come 96, lots of ships started coming because they knew there was a market. So lots of ships coming. So today when you sail, I would say easily you can sail for a week on a lower cabin in a bottom decks for easily around 1 lakh. You can go on a week with your family for a week and eat whatever you want. Drink you need to pay. Okay, but food is plenty. There is no limit on how much you can eat. So did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's about 1 lakh. I would say the top cabins would be today around 3 lakhs, 3.5 lakhs. Yeah. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, sir.
Any other questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Students, you can ask question. You can ask in Malayalam also, no problem at all.
Go ahead. Whatever questions.
Or you write in the chat box, I will tell that.
I can write in the chat box. I guess I can see
No,
that here.
yeah, you can write in the chat box also.
Yeah. I guess you're all waiting for the password. Is that so? You're all waiting for the
Or
password,
if
right?
okay,
No
today there
questions.
is I don't think.
Excuse me, sir.
Of course, thank you. You can.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me your name first.
Afternoon,
Yep.
sir. Thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is, can you please explain what's the role of grammar in communication or communicative English?
Role of grammar, I would say, is something which you should have picked when you were young, to be very frank. Now, as you grow up, ability to get that grammar right is not very easy. Okay, as I said, the 4 important points that you need to speak good English. I told you about the intonation, grammar, vocabulary, your intonation. right? Grammar do play a big role, but when you have this communicative English, I would not focus much on grammar, but I would say more on speaking skills. Unless or otherwise you are in a big position in a company that you work, then grammar is important, right? Because then people will finger point at, oh, the grammar is not right. But when it comes to communicative English, I wouldn't give much emphasis on grammar because this is something which you should have picked up when you are young. As you grow older, it becomes a bit difficult. So my suggestion, if you feel that your English is not that very good, don't wait for grammar much. I would say start talking to your friends in English, start writing something. If possible, check with someone who can, correct it for you, or else you go along like this and slowly grammar will fall into place. You will, people start correcting you. Oh, that's not the way you speak. This is the way you should use. So be open to those corrections and you can self-correct your grammar. I would suggest it that way, because going to an English speaking class or whatever it is, out of 30 days, you might go for 10 days, 12 days. That's not enough. You have to attend all the 30 days, out of complete willingness to self-improve. I think that's the way. Yes, I know it's a tricky answer if I tell you, grammar is important, but that's not an answer for it now. I've been teaching English, so many students in my college, but I'm at that age, they are your age. I'm not going to focus much on grammar because, I guess it's a bit too late, but you speak and self-correct it, you can correct it. There are many who can. When I used to teach my air hostess students, girls, there are a couple of girls who speak better than me now, but they have been in the industry for about 4 or 5 years. They are exposed to, friends, colleagues, who speak good English, and they corrected themselves and they can speak better than me today. So it's all left, depends on you how you take effort to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that
Thank you,
okay?
sir.
Yeah. You're welcome. Any questions? Yeah.
There is nothing in the chat box, sir.
There's nothing in chat box. So,
No.
all I got to tell you is if you have no questions, please feel free to write me something. As I told you, English is my first wife. So I would spend any amount of time, for English, because that's something I'm very passionate and I love. So send me, and then I'm going to correct it and send them back to you. I had only about 8 to 10 students who sent me. I need that number more because keep me busy. I like to be busy always. So, I love English and I love to correct the students, and, I can improve too. If I correct yours, I can improve too. So this is my only message for you. So until the next class, ciao. All right, thank you very much. And being today also, in spite of this internet connectivity and all that, being very patient and, you're wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Um,
sir.
okay,
Welcome.
thank you, sir. Today's keyword or the keyword for the third session is ship. SHIP, ship. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so today's keyword is ship, SHIP, ship. Okay. Uh, um, Let me then convey my vote of thanks. Thank you, Professor Davis Padikkal, for such an excellent talk. It was indeed an enthusiastic presentation, and thank you for the video presentation also. I'm sure that our students got little acquainted with the cruise liners, which otherwise they are not aware of. Thank you very much, sir, on behalf of the Department of Zoology, Little Flower College, Guruvayoor. I'm also thankful to the faculty members and the students who have participated in this webinar. Hope you have benefited from this webinar series. Let me tell the students, dear participants, today we had only half the number of participants. So you can tell your classmates that this session is today, it has been live in our YouTube channel. So ask them to view that before coming to the next session. And let me remind you that there is a minor change in the date of our next session. So I think we can meet on 19th August, 2 p.m. instead of 26th August for that final session of this webinar series on how to spark your audience 04. And the topic is Speak with Poise. So till then, stay safe and thank you all. Meet you after 2 weeks on 19th August. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, sir.